All right. Let's double check that we are live here. All right. Welcome to Fireside Chat number 246. Not too much to go over. I think the big thing is we are not terribly far from the clan anniversary on June 1st. Now, normally we do a hero thing, a house war for that, but we are considering doing instead a kind of free-for-all this time around. I think I talked about this last week, but we're discussing that in the all thing. If anybody else has thoughts on it, I'm certainly all ears, but I think that just based on the numbers, the balance of numbers between all the houses, I probably lean towards more of a free-for-all, which we did for Yule a few years ago, called the Vet Vigor. I think that because there's so many House Deputy members, I think that would probably, to me, work better because it would give House Deputy members the opportunity to challenge each other, especially when, you talk about, as much as it's a clan-wide competition, a lot of times you have people on a certain game or in a certain platoon or however you want to phrase it, challenging each other. And so generally that is going to be, a lot of people all in House Deputy, groups of people that are all in House Deputy that would want to play, challenge each other, but then couldn't if it was a traditional house war. So that's kind of the reasoning that is considering more of a free-for-all format. For those of you that weren't around for the Vet Vigor, which would be quite a lot of people, the way it worked is the way that house wars usually work, which is that you can challenge somebody and then you agree on a game or battlefield and you play. But instead of earning points for your house, 5 points per defeated opponent in a given challenge. So if you do a 1v2 or a 2v2 or a 3v3, a 2v2, 1v2 would get you 10 points, 5 points per opponent. 3v3 would get you 15 points. 1v1 would get you 5 points. It's per opponent, so technically you can, again, do a 1v2 or 1v3 or something, as long as everyone agrees to it. And basically, if you win, you will get points earned for yourself rather than for your house. And then we'll usually have something like a top 10 or top 5 leaderboard for points scored. So that may be what we do this year. We'll see. Other than that, I don't think there's too much to go over. I've been doing a lot of work on the potential night order for House Deputy. A lot of progress being made on that. Further, I recently did do a run through of the WA roster to update some profiles. I think those are all up to date as far as normally what we do is we make a profile for you if you reach Marine. If you don't reach Marine, you're on the roster, but usually we don't actually make a profile because oftentimes we get recruits that join and then kind of fade away pretty quick. So putting in the work to set up the profile and set up the link on the Sanctifico bot and everything is not really worth it if somebody's just going to leave right away. So if you do want to get a profile, then and you're a recruit, then just make Marine, which is pretty easy. You just have to do the Marine quiz. You can just ask anybody. They can help you find that, help you find the answers, etc. It's really simple. If you've ever done a roll call, it's just the roll call in a question form. Links to that are in About WA under Clan Ranks and Duties. But again, we can always send you the links or something if you have difficulty finding them. Always feel free to ask questions of anyone, especially officers. We can always help you. But yeah, recently did that update, getting all the profiles up and on the bot. In that vein, I also I was kind of playing around with my own profile, and I realized that the sizing of the cells, so was a little bit off. I think I just did it, just I kind of eyeballed it when I initially made it, unfortunately, and because all the profiles are made via a template, they all kind of have that issue now. It's not a big problem. It's really just more of a small pet peeve kind of thing. But I did adjust mine, and the new 5 or 6 profiles I set up today, I used the new format. So if you do make a new profile, please make sure that it looks like the proportions look like mine or any of the new ones I made, or just double check with me. Ideally, we will eventually copy over all of the current profiles to the new proportions, but that's not really a super high priority right now. But they look a little bit better. Just to explain a little bit in detail, the avatar box was not perfectly square, which it is supposed to be. And the same for the boxes where the marks go. Those were not perfectly square either. They're all slightly rectangular. So I went in and fixed all those so they are actual squares now. So they look a bit better. But, yeah, so small change, but if you do mess with profiles, specifically making new ones, do make sure you integrate that. So just make them, you can just make a copy of mine. There's a few of the new ones are correct as well. So ideally we will eventually kind of start copying those over. But probably number one priority for me right now is to get the new House Deputy Knight Order rolled out. So we'll be doing that. Hopefully pretty soon. I don't want to give a definite date on that because a lot of this is kind of me mulling things over, asking people stuff, kind of getting everything planned out. The way I've been doing things is in a very comprehensive way. So the old Night Orders, not to say the old Night Orders were not comprehensive, but a lot of what they did was really limited to just what 1 or 2 people knew. In their heads, they just knew how it was supposed to go. There weren't a lot of records, or if they were just sitting on somebody's hard drive, and if that person disappeared, or the hard drive failed, or whatever, it's just gone. So I'm trying to kind of future-proof things and avoid those kind of pitfalls, so the way I've done things with the Abyss Watchers Night Order and the way I'm doing things with this new one, and the way I'd like to do things with the other Night Orders, whether that be reviving the Rangers and Jade Falcons, which has been talked about, but has not happened, unfortunately. I'd love to see it, but I can't really do that myself. I'm happy to help, but I'd like more comprehensive stuff. So the way I've been doing it is basically making a codex for the Night Order, which will then have, as detailed as possible, everything about the Order. So all the training detailed, like specifically, not like just like a bullet point list, like do this, do this, do this, do this, but like detailed stuff. Like what if they fail this step? Do they get a retry? Who gets to decide if they proceed in this step? How does this specific step work? Like if the step just says master some history or something, well, you can't just have that as a step. It needs to be more specific. Are you asking them to read something and then write a summary? Or are you just asking them to read it and then you'll interview them and ask them questions about it? Is there some other way to demonstrate that they completed it? It should be detailed. I want these to be things where somebody who has no idea anything about the Order could pick it up and hopefully could figure out how to do everything correctly. Not that that would actually happen, but that is the goal. And I'd like them to be preserved. I've been using Google Docs for mine. I think is really nice because, it's not limited to just your hard drive. I don't really care if people keep it on the hard drive as long as there's copies somewhere that are more resistant to just disappearing randomly. Anyway, I think that's about it, so I should be around for office hours a little later.